Traditional pizzerias use 100% high gluten white commercial flour. This is not as healthy and, frankly, not necessary for great pizza. I've gotten the same results using 100% ancient grains by preparing super hydrated dough and milling that flour to ultra fine. It bakes within 3-4 minutes to a light dough, good for all breaded products, especially pizza. I think it's a safe bet. Gluten became a problem when America transitioned from small bakeries to the centralized commercial bakeries that we have today. Come on, it's so unnatural for bread to stay 10 days in a bag. That may work out great as well for the bread industry, but after 40 years eating this shit, my gut may disagree. Good bread starts with milling your dough. You want to know how important this is, just read reviews on countertop milling machines in Amazon. It's no secret, grain and seeds hold their nutritional potency for a very long time until you put them back in the ground to germinate or you mill it in the flour. How old is the flour right now in your pantry? Milling your flour at home is getting more popular. I purchased this small countertop unit about a year ago, and I noticed a huge improvement that I would never go back to commercial flour again. So, fresh milk, super fine grain, tops my list. The proper culture comes in second. I do believe in culture over yeast because culture is a great probiotic for the gut. It can be made to be mild or sour, depending if you want that Yukon sourdough flavor, just by increasing the volume or the time you allow it to culture. Sprouting your wheat berries also helps with proper digestion of gluten. Sprouting is easy. I sprout all my seeds, beans, lentils, everything before cooking. Just grind your sprouted wheat berries into a paste and add that directly to your dough. I'd start with like a 50-50 ratio because too much would make your bread heavier. My goal, if you choose to accept it, is a softer, lighter, natural whole grain bread that will rival any best European bakery with less work and better results. I've been baking fresh baked bread for the last 3 years for my family. And here's how I do it. So let's begin so I can prove myself to be true.
If you cycle your starter weekly, then you got a starter that is just taking a nap. However, if it goes past 2 weeks, it will need a little more time to wake up. After a month of deep sleep, it will take about 3 days for it to wake up again. A strong, active starter will raise your bread within 2 hours. We want a consistency nice and sticky, super hydrated. Hold a half a cup back until we see what it looks. We can always add more flour. This is the consistency we're looking for dough that is going to be worked into shape, like pizza. Otherwise, you can keep it a little more hydrated. Keep adding flour until you get it looking like this. Here's another example of a super hydrated dough. One that will just pour into the form. The best time to add the oil is now. I'm using about 3-4 tablespoons of oil. Clarified butter is my favorite. The old Western world claims it's the best oil on the planet. And be sure to coat your hands in scraper to avoid the sticky blues. The dough is extremely soft. It's very easy to incorporate the oil into the dough. When the dough becomes sticky again, well, the oil is now incorporated. Superhydration is important for ancient grains, not so much for white bread. I assure you, with just a little practice, it's just as quick as preparing an omelet. Now is the time to add the salt and spices like fennel, rosemary, coriander. I like basil for pizza. Also, sesame seeds work really well. Having fresh baked bread at any meal is not really an inconvenience. It's just a matter of coordinating your time. A very rewarding experience indeed. I'm going to separate the dough into two parts. The first part will be cold storage. The other part will be baked as soon as possible. Do not let your dough overproof. This is like letting the air out of the balloon. When your dough hits the hot oven, the extra moisture content expands into steam. And this will rise your bread products even more. So theoretically, the more hydrated the dough, the more light and fluffy it becomes. All of these bread products like hot ovens, like pizza stones, to be baked on. Keep the temperature as hot as possible, all the way up to 600 degrees. It only takes a few minutes to cook pizza in these high temperature ovens, so keep your eye on it and avoid any distractions. It only takes 40 seconds of distraction and it can go from brown to black. Talking from experience many times. Breadsticks can be easily cut from cold refrigerated dough and baked in 10 minutes. About the time it takes for the oven to come up to temperature. High-powered countertop electric pizza ovens work pretty well. They heat up fast and hot like a toaster. I'm using a ground beef mixture, thick with tomato sauce, similar to Turkish pizza without cheese. Instead of cheese, the Turkish folks make a yogurt drink called ayran. A little salt, and then you whip the yogurt to form a smoothie.